Hello again, people. Welcome back to the Post Nerdism podcast. As always, I'm your host, and I'm joined once again by Chris Harris.
Hello again and again and again.
And again, it's been 2 weeks since we last did this. We finally have decided to be current, and so this will actually go up in audio form tonight. Very, very current. And then onto YouTube tomorrow, which will be nice for when we talk about things that happen in the actual week, and then they become old news by the time it actually goes up. So we got new news. So, actually, none of this is really
we probably don't
all that
have
news-worthy this time. But we're going to talk about a few things, as we normally do. 4 topics once again this week. And we're going to start with something that you and I have lots of fun with, which is music rhythm games.
Yes, especially Rock Band.
Rock Band, well, pretty much only Rock Band, I suppose.
We've dabbled.
We've dabbled. Guitar Hero is what launched it all. Did you know first Guitar Hero was 2005?
Really?
It feels way too long ago.
Damn. I don't think we were into it then.
No, I picked up Guitar Hero 2 when it was near the end of its life. And that's what got me into everything after that. That's what got me into playing actual guitar.
I think my first rhythm game was Boom Boom Rockets.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, we should try to find that again.
Oh, man.
Wonder if they would have had that on the Xbox One store.
That was interesting playing that with a dance pad.
Yeah. Me and Corey were in the other room looking at the computer. We come back into the living room after we've been a night of drinking. Chris just lying on the floor next to the dance pad. Got a little too much alcohol flowing to the brain after that one. So before we dive too far into this, don't forget to go to podcast services and subscribe there. Or if you're listening to this in a podcast, go to YouTube and subscribe there. Share the love. Let us get some numbers. We got a new subscriber. Did you see that? We're at 4. And it's a random person. I think it's our first rando, which is it's a milestone. It's just the trickle before the flood, you know? So yeah, we mostly just play Rock Band 4 now. And when we do, it's always the night ender.
Mm-hmm.
We play it until we pass out. But I just hooked up the Xbox 360 Ion drum kit, the big special semi-professional electronic kit that plugs into Rock Band, and I had to get the big adapter, the expensive adapter, I should say, to be able to plug in the old stuff into the new console. But that kind of led me to the other topic of games like this actually being teaching tools.
Mm-hmm.
You got interested in playing the actual drums through Rock Band.
Yes.
And took a few lessons and all
I
that.
actually took some lessons. But in general, I'd say they need more innovation in that regard to those peripherals and instruments.
It's hard not to make them super expensive, and
that's the problem.
Sort of inaccessible.
The balancing is the cost versus how cartoony or how accurate it is, kind of thing.
Because you could put a lot of money into it, making it a legit training tool, but then it's like, well, why didn't you just buy
That's kind of like
a real instrument?
Rocksmith did that, I believe.
Yeah, so Rocksmith.
But I don't know how it did long term. I don't think it did particularly well.
I have actually talked to a few non-gamers about Rocksmith that I've randomly came in contact with, mostly through music stuff. And some of them, found it useful, if not to actually teach guitar, but more just to kind of learn the subtleties that they might not have thought about, like just the way songs are structured and where on the neck of a guitar you go to do certain things.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of show you like how a musician might be putting together a melody or a chord progression. And as you play more songs and kind of dive into it that way, you can actually learn that these things are just patterns that get repeated in a lot of songs. Like there's an actual just kind of formula when it comes to most music.
Yeah.
And those songs kind of expose that formula by just like literally showing you over and over how it's all kind of put together. But you have to kind of want to learn at the same time. It's not so much of a game as it is that game.
That one's more of a teaching tool.
That's good, a teaching tool for sure. And I think the cost of getting into that is pretty high because you do need to buy a guitar. But if you want to learn guitar already, you're going to buy a guitar.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool thing that way. I don't know if there's really any other examples I can think of where like a real world thing can interact with a game in a way that teaches you like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, when rhythm games had their first boom, it's pretty unsustainable the way they were going. Because there's pretty much a game there's 2 games a year I would say at the peak or more. What was all the offshoots that the Guitar Hero and Rock Band had you had Beatles games, Metallica games, reboots of the original games.
Plus just the numbered games like literally Guitar Hero 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it was called World Tour or something where
Rock
they started
Band 1, 2, 3, and 4 now.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't really sustainable. It's not.
They started pumping out like 2 a year.
Yeah, you burn out your
competitors
group
as well, so you needed 2 full sets of instruments.
You burn out your group, your core, because they're not going to be interested. They'll be like, well, it's pretty much the same game as what I just had.
Yeah.
And then once you have downloadable content, it becomes more of a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason.
It's one of those games that never should have had really another iteration. It should have just been always release more songs.
If it was more of
and upgrade the game.
A 2-year thing. Every 2 or 3 years, they release a new one with an upgrade to the gameplay or the instruments or et cetera, and in between, you're just doing what Rock Band 4 is actually doing now, which is basically just coasting on DLC.
Yeah. I wouldn't even...
You don't need new games.
I don't know what you would do in Rock Band 4 to make it even... Like, why release another one kind of thing? I don't know what they would be able to change. I don't like that they took away certain features that we liked in Rock Band 3. But they have expanded Rock Band 4 to bring a few things back. I really miss the more in-depth character creator for sure.
Yeah, they just released the new multiplayer add-on or enhancement to the game.
Rivals.
But I wouldn't mind seeing a new version of Rock Band with different skins. Maybe go more realistic.
Yeah. Actually, there's a Rock Band VR. I don't know if it's already out or they're still working on it. I think it's just PC. But that's like the perfect kind of game.
Yeah, that would be.
Especially if you could like have your drums like mapped out so that you can see them, but you actually hit them when you hit and you have your sticks visible and all that. That'd be a really fun experience. You actually like have this,
that would probably help you teach a bit better too.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that would suffer as much of the problems of like your perception if you're sitting there and everything is mapped out as it is and all you're doing is hitting that and you're not moving around.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't
a game
really
like that's
have a problem?
Pretty much perfect for VR, where it's like you don't have to go anywhere. You're just confined to this space. Even playing guitar, I mean, you could just stand still.
Yeah.
You're not going to be...
But I think
it could be kind of fun walking around.
The guitars could probably use some work in how they're done in the game. I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it is now. It's 5 buttons. It's not teaching you anything really.
It's nice for
maybe
rhythm.
More of a up and vertical on the controls would be great.
They tried doing that with Guitar Hero, which we should break out at some point. I got the newest Guitar Hero. I don't hear anybody ever
talking about
that one, but it had 2 sets of 3. So it did have the vertical buttons, like 6 buttons total, but 3 and 3. So you kind of try to emulate more chord shapes that way, I guess. It confused the shit out of me. It was really hard to play it. It's like learning just a whole new way of doing, but of like you're so ingrained with this 5-button system that you've always played with, and then you're like, oh my god, I suck again. It was really difficult. I wonder how it would be if I ever got good at that and then trying to go do both, switch back and forth between the 2 systems. Probably be alarming, trying to go from legacy to standard controls in first-person shooters.
That's your problem, not mine.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe think about other games that could be good learning tools. And I think history is something they could definitely teach really well through video games. And I think some try.
There have been some in the past, which is... you had Oregon Trail, a Yukon Trail. I think Yukon Trail is probably a Canadian game that was exclusive to our elementary school. I don't know. I haven't really seen it elsewhere.
Well, I even think of games like the World War II games, and I know Assassin's Creed. I think they tried to make really accurate Egypt or something like that. Tried
really accurate in game form, I guess.
Yeah, but it's I think you could take that further and really make it, kind of true history lessons if they wanted to. I don't know if the market would be all that receptive to something like that. But I'm sure a lot of people have been exposed to certain things they never would have cared about, but they got more into them through video games.
Yeah. I think in general, the problem with the video game portrayal of history is its movie cinema.
Yeah.
Kind
You're the
of
star of the show.
Everything has been enhanced to make it a little bit faster, a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Because when history is going down, history is pretty boring.
Yeah, and it takes a while to happen generally. It's kind of slow.
You don't look back at it until later and go, wow.
It's like the one day here and there where it's like, wow, a lot of stuff really happened on this day.
Yeah.
And those are like the big game, or the big days usually play in the games. But yeah, that's not really like the history of it. Those are the battles, sure, or whatever, if it's, a warring type thing. But the real history is happening in the politics and the propaganda and, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of, it can be day to day kind of stale. So I don't know how you would go about maybe VR will be good for that, or it's just like you're literally just exploring worlds and they're just exposing you to all these sort of ideas. It's not so much of a game as it is like just a virtual experience of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else do you think would be something you could actually teach or use video games for? I know puzzle games are really good at like training your brain and doing little mind twisty things. Nothing springs to mind.
Nothing's springing to mind at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, all I could really come up with was instruments and history. Kind of, I mean, there have been like math puzzle games. I remember for the computer, even like typing games.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to type
the typing
faster
game.
and you learn how to
that
type.
Did help with keeping you interested in it.
Yeah. Like, keeping score. I think that's the...
I think there's a couple Steam games out there that are basically kind of teaching you how to program.
Oh, yeah. But doing it more game-wise.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I've not really gotten into that. It's a little bit deeper in than I'm interested in.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. It depends, I guess, at what age you're exposed to that kind of stuff, too. I mean, or if we're kind of like past the possible career line for something like that, or even just, you only have so much time to do things, and learning programming is a time-intensive thing, for sure. But going back to the rhythm games, yeah. They definitely... I blame Guitar Hero more than Harmonix, who makes Rock Band. They started making Guitar Hero games, and then I think Activision got a hold of the Guitar Hero license or whatever it was, and Harmonix moved on to do Rock Band and published it under EA, I think. And I think they were just smarter about it. They weren't releasing like literally 2 standalone games a year the way Activision was pushing. And Activision seems to do this with every single property they acquire. It's just, let's just throw 1 million of them out there. Because I think, they would get like an AC/DC game plus a main Guitar Hero game.
Who did the Beatles and the Metallica? And
the Beatles was Harmonix.
Right.
So that was Rock Band guys. But the Metallica, the AC/DC, I think there was a few other themed ones. Those were all done in Guitar Hero. They'd basically release one of those and one of the main games
each year.
Oh, Van Halen was another one. I didn't even have
the problem
time to
is
play
that
them all. I own them all, I think.
At that point, you can, by the time those ones were coming out, you can download everything. So it doesn't really make sense.
It was
you can
money
just release a list of these are the songs that are coming out and spend your money.
It was weird that they would be releasing standalone games to do that, because you'd get... I wonder if it was
the profit margin would be smaller too on that, because you're developing a whole game again.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus releasing literally just a track with your interpretation of how it should be played.
I know for AC/DC they wouldn't allow their songs at first anyway. I think they've become more lenient now because... Well, now maybe I'm mistaking it. AC/DC was released in Rock Band, because we played AC/DC songs, didn't we? In Rock Band?
Originally, I think we might have. I don't think they've been in recent ones.
Yeah. I know that their whole thing was like, you can't release our music unless it's an album form.
They generally did ask for a lot of royalties for their songs, from what I've heard.
And you needed a lot of them at the same time, because it's like, we don't release singles anywhere, ever. Like even Iron Man, I think, to use that one song, they had to release an entire soundtrack of AC/DC songs. Yeah, it was just kind of flooding. It was a weird... for us, it never died off. But I stopped, like, it was almost every party or whatever little gathering I would go to in, I guess, mid-2000s or whatever, late 2008, How do you say that? 2008, 2009?
2018?
No, back in like 10 years ago.
Oh.
It seems like everywhere I would go, there'd be just a corner with a TV set up and Guitar Hero going. Yeah, 08.
Oh, wait.
The knots.
Just cut out the 20.
I think they call them the knots. If there's a 0 or something like that. The knots, then the teens. Yeah. I'll have to mess around with this audio later.
Looks a little low.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. Especially yours. Oh well. That's what post-production is for. Once I start doing these live, that's sort of I'm gonna have to get my shit together.
Well, speaking about history and in games, there's been you wanted to look at older computer games and nostalgia factor and remakes of those games coming out as TV shows, and
yeah,
that it did just release a standalone Oregon Trail game.
Really?
Literally, it's its own little player. It's $25. It's a little retro game player for that game specifically. It looks like a cross between an old computer, really old computer, and an original Game Boy.
Oh, it's an actual.
Yeah, it's a little unit.
Weird.
And it's just for playing that game.
That's a.
If you've got, it's very specific. If you have the nostalgia factor for that game,
I guess. That's
it's
just
$25 game,
really
and it comes with its own player.
You think it'd be a mobile game or something? You just like.
There's probably a couple out there. I haven't gone looking for them.
Wouldn't be surprised if they're not exactly the same, like complete knockoffs.
Yeah.
Of it.
But that's one teaching history.
Yeah, and your entire family's dying to random diseases, and you can't make it.
That you can't cure and can't treat.
It's a very dark
yes
reality of type game. But yeah, we bring it up because Carmen Sandiego is getting a movie on Netflix. There's a movie or a series?
It's a movie and a series.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yes. There's a movie, a live action movie, and a animated series in works.
Right. Yeah, I just remember the game shows, I guess. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? And they did. There was a few different ones. Where in the world? Where in time was Carmen Sandiego?
I think I played that more as a child in the computer sciences class.
Yeah, totally.
When I couldn't play Down a Park Tycoon.
Yeah, I didn't like Carmen
some of them
Sandiego
didn't have
very
it
much. I wasn't into the geography.
I don't know if it was the geography or just the way it was set up.
Well, it was a very like just question and answer type game, right? I think. Kept getting clues and then trying to guess where she is. I didn't really think of her as a villain, but apparently she's a thief or something, right?
You're supposed to track her down.
Yeah, it's weird.
Be interesting to see where they go with it, especially in a movie and an animated series.
Yeah, well, and then is it going to be educational like the TV show or the game shows we're trying to be? I feel like
if they're doing it right, the movie would be the nostalgia hit for the people now, like us, I guess, who've grown up with that, and the animated series will be trying to get new viewers and entertain older viewers at the same time.
Yeah, I wonder what their plot is going to be.
I have no idea. It's still fairly early days in that one.
Yeah, I think it's 2019 is the release schedule for it. That's a big year, obviously. A lot of time in a year to push things off. It could be 2 years away, pretty much. But yeah, other old computer games. Dino Park was definitely the go-to at school. I would play that game again probably now.
Was Lemonade Tycoon out then? I played a remake version of it. There's just multiple Tycoon games back then where you could do little weird things.
Yeah, Roller Coaster and...
Well, Roller Coaster Tycoon,
that was the big one, I think.
Would still play that. I still own a couple of those.
Yeah? They still keep making new ones, don't they?
Nah, well, there was a recent one that came out. It was like Roller Coaster World. Honestly, I didn't really dig into it. You could do really in-depth work on that one. I didn't get into that one, though. I want the basics.
I like how those games like combined like just the creative aspect of building things, but also the sort of economic side of it, like pleasing your customers and all that. And then it'd be disasters and you have to like clean up and make everything kind of run smooth again. They're just weird little, I guess it's kind of like SimCity in a way. It's just more specific.
Yeah.
Like a city builder game.
Yeah, it was a good game. What else was there? There was another Wasn't there another Tycoon game that was something that we played?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the other Tycoon games. I can't. There's a whole bunch, I'm sure. I got the internet right here in front of me.
Well, speaking of old games becoming new things, there's that Rampage movie on its way out soon.
Oh, that's right. Who was it? The Rock that's in that?
It's got The Rock. They've gone a different way because I think the original game was a human in each monster's case that was like morphed into the big bad monster that went around beating the crap out of buildings.
Right.
And this one's it's a genetic mutation of an original monster. Because they wanted it. I think the quote I read was they wanted to be more grounded.
Right. Yeah. Totally grounded. I can't find a list of just the Tycoon games.
I do like the old school games like that for the old.
There's a Prison Tycoon.
Prison Tycoon.
Yeah. That's a fun reality in the States. Prison tycoons for sure.
That sounds US specific.
Yeah.
But
did you ever play any DOS games like way back?
Which DOS game? I'm not even sure.
I used to have these really crappy ones that my dad would always have to like go into DOS and launch for me because I could never figure out how to do all that stuff. There was this one where you were like a swimmer or a scuba diver and you had a harpoon gun and you had to kill sharks.
I don't think I played any of them like that.
Those kind of games.
That kind of games was like
too, like Feeding Frenzy.
Well, you got your Minecraft and your Solitaire and all that, but Snake. Snake was and Helicopter or whatever the versions of that on the original. Like I had a little Nokia phone, practically indestructible little thing.
They keep making knockoffs of those games. I don't know. I don't think they'll ever go away.
That would be basically what Flappy Bird was
exactly.
a couple years ago or a few years ago. What
a weird thing that was. Little phenomenon of like this stupid little game that they stopped putting out there. Like,
it's literally like Snake or Helicopter or anything like that.
But they like pulled it down and then people would like sell their phones for outrageous amounts of money because it had it installed on it. I don't understand.
It's the internet phenomenon.
Ugh, the internet's a weird place. Then there's this game. I think it was kind of like what came before Worms. This guerrilla game. You'd like start in this random, two random positions with buildings, kind of between you.
Yeah.
And you just throw explosive bananas at each other. You have to like put in the power, your angle, and all these different like calculations.
I played an old tank game of that too.
Yeah.
Version where you're trying to figure out the trajectory to hit the other person before they figure out you.
It's just this super nerdy type.
And the wind would change or whatever.
Yeah, the wind would change and you have to like readjust. It was, as a kid, it was just like so much luck. You're just like, maybe these numbers will work. And it just goes, Choo! It's like, oh, too much power. You got to turn it down.
Tank Hunter? Do you remember Tank Hunter?
No. Was that the one with like the wireframe?
It was like wireframe game.
Well, I obviously remember it, but I never played it, I don't think.
Yeah. That was pretty popular in school because we were doing great things.
Yeah.
Paying attention in our class, playing that.
And speaking of the TV shows and old games, Street Fighter is apparently going to have a TV show. They did something, web series in 2014, a live action thing. And apparently this is like an extension of that.
Yeah.
They decided to put money into it and actually make it a show.
Is it? No, it's not Netflix. It's a different
one,
standalone industry. Entertainment One?
Let's see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, Entertainment One is the producer, I guess. So I don't know where that's going to be put out. But they do Grey's Anatomy. They did Saving Private Ryan and Speed. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll just...
well, because it's based on Street Fighter 2's story with basically Ryu, Ken versus Mr. Bison in the whole World Warrior fighting tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know anything about Street Fighter's story. I never got into that. Yeah, it's just funny that I guess this is how shit happens. It's always a cycle. Start reusing old stuff, just like why comic books came back into prominence, and now they're gonna go into video games, I guess. And got Rampage, Carmen Sandiego, Street Fighter.
It's
Mario doesn't.
They go
animated.
It goes. It's cyclical, right? So and it'd be weird seeing things in the future where like current games, just random games that just came out that had a big impact, You don't really think about it.
Well, I guess Tomb Raider is one that has had a lot of movies.
Yeah. Well, they've tried to do
I
that
almost forget
one
that's a game at this point.
constantly. Yeah, it's more movies than games now.
Yeah. It became like that one was really well adapted to the casual crowd, I guess. For whatever reason, it's just like, yeah, it makes sense as a movie. Sure. It's like female Indiana Jones.
Angelina Jolie.
It didn't hurt. Yeah, the new one's a little bit more conservative, or at least not so exaggerated in certain areas, I suppose, is the way to put it. She's more grounded, I suppose, the new one. I don't know if that movie's already out.
I can't. Oh, yeah, it is out.
Is it out?
I'm planning on seeing it next week.
Oh, really?
I can't remember her name. It's really bad. I really liked her in the Bourne movie.
Oh, is that where she's from?
Yeah.
Is it her big start, or?
I don't know if those. No, they usually have other starts before that, but that's the one I know of.
Yeah. Going from that, I started thinking about like what I've been doing lately with the collecting old games, whether you can find them physically or find them on the internet somewhere. And it kind of got me down another path while I was doing all that research, and something I hadn't thought about. But all the old stuff, like everything, is going to stop working, and like, stuff just breaks down. Like even CDs and DVDs.
I've been noticing
degrade,
my old DVD collection is getting a little iffy on some of the.
Yeah, and it makes me like really wonder if in even 20 years or so from now, like the same way we have these like old, like really old things like records that our parents maybe had that are kind of falling apart or super scratchy, we're gonna have like video game consoles that are essentially dead. And then they're just gone unless
there'll be some things they'll just die.
I think a reboot.
The thing with that is if it's got enough of a cult following, it seems that those games just keep getting moved along by dedicated individuals who want to see that game.
Well, that's the beauty about the internet, yeah. They'll preserve them, they'll emulate them.
So those can keep moving on that way, but certain things will be unplayable eventually.
Yeah.
You'll go back to your old console and just like, there's nothing I can do with this, especially if it's based on CD, DVD technology.
Yeah, I'm terrified for when like Wii games to me are the big one because I think you can get Wii emulators, but I don't know how to like set up the
I don't know if
controller.
I'm too worried about the Wii.
There's a few games I love with
Nintendo
the Wii.
is pretty good at consistently pumping it out for the next system.
But that controller was just so unique, and that's going
to be the problem. But also in that regard, people seem to make their own versions of that or make their own little adapter that can convert that to work. It seems to work. Mm-hmm. If there's enough drive, somewhere out there is making it.
It's true. Although it never works quite the way you'd hope.
Yeah.
I wish there was an easier way to back stuff up. Like the physical disc and just have more of them. Or even just download it onto a hard drive or something which will eventually fail as well. But you can keep on just making new ones, hopefully, that don't degrade too much. But I guess at the same time, it's like how much stuff do you eventually want? Where it's like you literally can't go back and play everything that you liked. New stuff keeps coming out too. You only have so much time.
Yeah.
It's like, is it really worth it to be like, I now have like 70 GameCube games ready and waiting for me. I don't know how many I'll actually play, but it could be fun over the next 70 times we hang out with the guys to pull one out and try that one out.
You'll end up going to the same ones consistently.
That's just it. Yeah. You end up going back to your favorites. The other thing, though, that was really worrying is like the eShop is getting shut down for the Wii and the Wii U. Mm-hmm. And so it's like I have a lot of purely just digital purchases on those consoles. Once those shops shut down, should something happen to my console where I need to just replace the whole thing, I can't just go back and re-download those games. It's just literally gone forever.
That's true.
Something that I've purchased and owned.
If the system dies and you go and pick up another system, you can't get them back.
That's a lot, like really disturbing thought to think that
seemed to be
it's going to happen. I wonder if they'll
a theme with them,
an archive somewhere or something.
No, but they had what's the longest time they haven't had any kind of online or cloud backup of any of the saved game files for the Switch too. So if you did lose your system, you lost all your save files.
Yeah.
So your 900 corrects are gone
forever because I'm never doing that again. And the Wii U is another one, like the Wii, where it's like, I don't think you probably can't try to emulate the Wii U. with the whole gamepad thing and all that going on, it just seems.
I don't know how much is covered in the other stuff too either, though, like old 360 games or other systems. I haven't really tried to keep up with it the way that Nintendo does, the Nintendo games have driven me to. I'm sure there'll be another virtual console coming out for the Switch.
Better be. They need a subscription.
If they're killing off the other one, they're gonna bring it up just because all of a sudden, oh well, we lost it on the Wii and the Wii U, so time to get it on the Switch.
I'm surprised they haven't done that this year because they don't have a whole lot going on with the Switch.
You might hear something at E3.
Maybe
it's a couple months.
Maybe it'll still happen by the end. They're kind of banking right now, like nothing happening on the Switch right now until really Mario Tennis.
Well, nothing.
And that's not
big.
Really a big.
They are doing very well on the indie and small games thing.
Yeah.
Some to the degree that they need to curate their store a bit better.
Oh yeah, a lot of crap.
It's very hard to find specific games or see what's a bestseller really.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no categories really.
Mm.
You got your options is basically new releases, bestsellers.
Still not as bad as Steam.
Oh wait, that's the problem. You don't want to go to the same way.
Yeah. You need that Nintendo Steel quality to mean something.
I think there was a Steam game that got rejected recently that is now on the Switch.
Oh, no.
So that's a bad sign.
That's a terrible sign. If Steam doesn't want it.
You gotta watch the shovelware.
Yeah. So I guess, it was really just the interesting thought that it's the first time in game history that it's all starting to come and fail. Because gaming's kind of a new industry, too.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think that even in, like, the NES was 85, like, pretty much were as old as the gaming industry in a way.
It would kind of need to go along the lines of the music industry and how they recycle the songs that way. I'm not knowledgeable on that path, but that's the comparable you could kind of make.
The great thing about music is, like, a new artist can redo an old song, and at least the song lives on. I mean, video games kind of do the same thing, I guess. They can capture the spirit of an old game. Like Time Splitters 2, for example, was made by some of the people that made GoldenEye. Different companies, spiritual kind of successor type stuff.
Stardew Valley, one of my favorite farming activity games.
Like spiritual.
It's basically a spiritual successor of Harvest Moons.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess in that way, the games will kind of always live on. I guess it's just trying to find, because sometimes they're not as well known as like, oh, I really liked, Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. I'm sure there's a Mario Kart clone type thing out there, but we just don't know about it because it's not called Mario Kart. I guess that's the real trick, is trying to find things similar to what you like. And then speaking of games that we like and people like, segue power. The big hot topic game right now is Fortnite.
Yes.
You never played it?
I haven't really played it. I've read up on it. I've looked into getting it. I mean, it is free.
Is it free for all consoles?
I'm not sure if it's free on consoles. I think it is.
Huh.
Don't quote me on that.
Because all I could find information about it was that it was free as well. But it might have been talking about the PC.
Well, it's a lot of microtransactions for skins and stuff like that. And that's one of the problems they're having, actually, is hacking.
Hacking?
People's accounts are getting hacked so that hackers can come in and buy skins or expansion packs and then turn around and sell them.
Oh. Sell them?
Yep.
Like sell the whole account?
No, they sell those codes. They get codes.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Always turn on your two-stage authentication.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing with Epic Games hasn't really been great at addressing that stuff. There's been people that have been getting lots and lots of notifications that they're being hacked, and they can't do anything about it because they get locked out because the safety feature.
Yeah.
So then they can't get in to disable the notification, so they're just getting emails and emails and emails if someone tries to crack their account.
That sucks. Well, other than that crap, it's become like this real. I feel like it just exploded even more recently with the mobile version. It's like now just everybody's talking about it. I don't understand how that
it is free.
How that game can be
on
mobile,
the Xbox
on consoles.
too. So
we should get it. It looks. Everything I hear is it's fun, and I like fun games.
I'm not as interested in it, mainly because I've been into PUBG.
PUBG,
which
good old PUBG.
People will disagree with if they're Fortnite fans.
Well, they said the whole thing was that Fortnite was a different game, and then they had Battle Royale. Is that what it's called?
It's a Battle Royale thing, which is Fortnite and PUBG. That's the whole
And so Fortnite
design.
kind of capitalized on it's like, well, we can make our world that as well, or whatever it is, use the assets we have.
It's a lot about the building, being able to build structures quickly while fighting.
Right. Yeah, so it's a weird, really
and that's what
different
takes me out of it. I'm not really into the whole building phase. I'd want to just fight. But once you get to the end of the game, you basically have to be able to build well or you're not going to win.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. I haven't even watched gameplay on it. I don't know anything about it.
It's just really easy to drop into, and I think the fact that it's free makes it very accessible to everybody. And then, of course, the mobile version, which actually has a warning on it now to not play it in class because it has become such a thing in high schools.
If people need to be warned, then...
kind of like the old Pokemon Go thing, don't play it while driving.
Yeah. Do they really need to put warning? Like,
it's a liability thing.
It's weird because it's just like, are you really liable for other people being idiots?
They're trying.
Mean, that's like saying don't ride your bike inside or something. It's like, do bikes need to come with a little warning on them? Don't ride inside.
They probably do.
That's like saying, don't ride it, on the top of a building. Don't ride it downhill in sand. I think there's so many things that you probably shouldn't do. Cars come with a warning, say, don't drive downhill in the snow. I mean, just stuff that people need to take some personal responsibility for. It's weird that they feel like compelled to make a warning.
Yeah, well, I guess when you have the amount of users that you do, you're influential that way.
Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking about that, and then other games that are super popular games that I just never even touched.
What else have we not gotten into?
One thing that really came to my mind was what's the one with Nathan Drake or something?
Uncharted.
Uncharted, yeah.
Yeah.
Never played those games, but they're huge. Everybody loves them.
I haven't played them either.
Assassin's Creed, I've meant to play them.
I've played one. I didn't find it that great. No? Apparently, it's gotten better since then with the game, with the different iterations of the game. But I was not too impressed with the original that I played.
Right.
It's very basic.
Got a list here of some of the biggest games that I know.
But yeah, definitely Uncharted would be one that I have been neglecting. That was more because it came out in PlayStation 3 era.
And it was.
And I did not have a PlayStation
exclusive.
3. Yes.
Yeah. So, but we were never Sony people.
No.
It was an afterthought kind of thing.
I've got a PlayStation now. Sony does not want my money, so I have stopped playing Sony games.
Just won't accept that credit card.
Yeah, they just do not accept that credit card. I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn because of that. You have dabbled a bit.
I haven't played enough of it. It's fun.
Well, you get to. Well, you started playing it, and then didn't we play Zelda right after, or did we play Zelda before it?
Zelda was before it. Started playing Horizon, then we started playing Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter took me out of that. And now I feel like I haven't played a game in weeks. We've played Smash and we played Rock Band, but...
It's because we've been digging into the nostalgia factor.
True. Yeah. Those 70 GameCube games that I got. And I haven't played any of them, but I've had fun downloading them.
Well, we played a couple of those. Those what was that other one? The Yoshi...
Oh, yeah. We were playing got a Raspberry Pi going. And we were playing Yoshi's Cookie.
Yoshi's Cookie?
Was that the fun one?
Yeah.
And was the Tetris Attack?
Yeah.
That was the really
and then you just kicked my ass at Dr. Mario because...
Good old Dr. Mario. I didn't know I was good at Dr. Mario.
Well, you're better than me. But yeah, PUBG's got a mobile version of their game out now too.
Huh. Is it actually the same game? Like you actually control and move
around the same way? Well, you're definitely not controlling the same way. I'm not sure what the input is. Apparently it's not bad controls. And when you first started, people were very excited because they were getting their chicken dinners consistently.
Oh yeah.
But it's because they figured there's bots in the game.
Right.
Who were actually inserted in the game. And until you got further in, you were mostly with bots until you started seeing people. The more you played it, the more people you'd see once you got better.
Interesting. So basically
when it dropped you in, it dropped you with bots.
So everyone was feeling good about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so good. I'm beating people. Are they like bots with names that you'd expect to maybe be gamer tags?
I don't know. Maybe they don't have names.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you don't see names in... No, you do. You see names when there's a kill.
Yeah.
But other than that...
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't dabbled in it. I'm not a really big mobile gaming person.
I don't touch
I
it.
dabbled in Pokemon Go, and that was about it.
Yeah, played a little bit when that first came out. It was fun. It was like a social game.
Yeah.
That was about it. I'm looking back at other big games that came out. You played The Witcher, right?
Yes.
And you liked that game quite a bit.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not actually beat it.
No? Was it really long?
Well, if
Many
you
side quests?
the side quests, the side quests were so good that they would actually drag me off the trail, and I would get so dragged up doing other things that I would forget what the main story was, and then I'd drift off. It's one of the best games for side quests. They're actually felt different and unique most of the time. They weren't just, this is a thing, get it, fetch.
It's not a fetch quest and just jump around all the time.
They had their own little stories, and some of them were very unique.
Huh.
So it is a really good game. I would recommend playing it. I'm interested to see where it goes in the future. Maybe I'll have to buckle down and make a rule that when I play the next time, I do the story only and then worry about everything else after the fact.
Was it originally a book or like a comic or something?
It's based on a Polish writer's work, I believe.
Okay. And are they talking about making a movie or TV out of it?
I haven't looked that up.
Maybe I dreamed that. I don't know if that was actually true. I thought they were going to do something more multimedia with it.
It would definitely work
outside of video games.
In like the whole Game of Thrones era of fantasy TV and movies.
The Witcher Netflix. The Witcher on Netflix, release date, plot. What? A 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb. What does that mean?
That's just random people giving it a vote.
It's not even out yet.
Upcoming fantasy drama series for Netflix. Interesting.
Huh.
I did not know about that.
That's kind of cool. Oh, that's actually, this is a recent article published March 13th.
Oh.
So there you go.
I probably will watch a couple episodes of that.
I'd be interested in watching that.
See how that goes.
I saw you play a little bit of it, I think, in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And it looked interesting. It sounded like it had good voice acting, if nothing else.
Yes.
I think I remember
good music.
hearing that. Yeah. Yeah, The Witcher.
It's had a couple expansions since then, too.
That one's on Xbox and PlayStation, right?
Yes.
That's multi-platform.
Multi-platform.
It's most of the games, the big games that I haven't played have been Sony games. Like, I still haven't played The Last of Us. Soon.
That one needs to be done.
Soon. When's version 2 come out? Is it this year?
No. I don't know if the release date's been announced for that one. I believe they were looking at like something's going to come out in E3 with a date and more trailers.
And then other games that have been big. Grand Theft Auto 5 is massive. It continuously sells, or it's like one of the biggest selling games every month kind of thing.
I played some of that back in the day on a friend's PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that GTA 5?
Oh, there was Xbox, wasn't there? There was an Xbox version of it too.
Yeah. 5 is the online game. On the continuous
I just didn't find it that great.
It's a sandbox game.
It's a sandbox game. You jump in, play it for a while. I never really had a moment in it where I'm just like, I need to keep playing this and keep going.
From what I've seen and heard of it, it's like a social game. Like people will get on with their friends and just fuck around.
Well, yeah, they did do that with 5. They made it a lot more multiplayer oriented than the other games.
Yeah,
so that's what kind of kept it going. There's heists and all that stuff and races now.
I played it a bit with Tyson. Like he brought it over and just showed me. And it's really just a screw around game. It's like, hey, look at this guy. He's in a helicopter. I'm gonna shoot at him. It's like, why? I don't know. I just feel like messing with him. It's like a big trolling game basically.
I don't think of other games that I haven't played. Well, I still haven't played the recent Mario game.
Mario Odyssey. I haven't played.
I have not played that.
To really say that I have. There's so many games. It's so hard to find the time. But now that the computer is built, I want to just use it to stream all the time and just play games instead of messing around with technology.
I haven't played Splatoon either.
Yeah, I want to play that. It just sucks that it's single player or not split screen, so we can't play it together unless you buy it. But I'll try playing it single player. Maybe it'll be something that we actually find fun enough on your own, and who knows? Maybe they'll have a sale. I think that game's been out for almost a year now. The Bloodborne type games as well. I want to play.
Well, I do want to play that. There's a new one. The remake coming out soon.
Yeah, for the Switch. I want to pick that up.
That one I'm interested in. Because I never really got into that originally either.
Yeah.
It was more of something you just read about it constantly.
Yeah. That'll be a fun game to play when it comes out too, when everyone on the Switch is new and fresh in it. Because it's a game, I guess you can jump in and out of people's and help or hurt their progress or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that'll be an entertaining kind of jaunt. And I like those games where it's like you really have to be disciplined in your fighting or whatever, where it's like you get punished for mistakes.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
have to.
It's kind of old
basically
school.
It's basically about the boss fights.
Yeah,
and you have to learn the boss's moves.
Yeah, it's almost like, I think it's blasphemy to say, but Monster Hunter was kind of similar sort of fighting style where it's
Yeah,
like
you
have
get
to
punished
pick
if
your
you don't know,
moments.
if you don't really pick up on the monster's moves and you're just trying to go in there and hack and slash. It's
Yeah,
not going to work.
you get
Same
messed
with
up.
actually, like you were talking about The Witcher 3. You can't just, on the harder difficulties at least, you can't just go flying in and start swinging your sword everywhere. You die.
Yeah, I like those games that actually, it's nothing like a game like Hyrule Legends where you literally just go in and make a lot of guys die.
It's a button masher, arcadey kind of style.
Yeah.
That one. I can't remember what it's called. That type of game.
Tons of units, tons of units and guys flying through the air. Yeah, it does have a genre, doesn't it? I can't remember what it's called.
99 Nights.
Yeah, I love that game.
I hate that
It
game.
was so fun. I don't know why you did.
I hate that game, specifically the fact that I was never able to complete it, and anyone else that picked it up beat it.
Got full achievement points.
So I have no idea what I was doing wrong, but there's something wrong with me in that game.
Have you ever played a MOBA?
No.
I don't even know what MOBA stands for. I always forget. But
Massive online
Battle Arena. But it's like a third person. You control a hero of some kind, and I guess do you have maybe bots or units or something?
multiplayer online battle arena.
Battle Arena. Look at that. We
So
did
it's
it together.
basically it's
We figured it out.
teams going against each other.
Yeah, they look interesting, and then like the biggest thing on Twitch is League of Legends, I think,
Yeah.
and that's a MOBA, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, never played one in my life. I think it's because they're always PC games.
Generally, yes.
And
That's
so
the thing.
I just don't play games on my
I don't
PC.
play a lot of multiplayer games on my PC. Most of it's single player.
Mm-hmm. Those are definitely huge games that I've never touched, never went anywhere
Yeah.
near. Minecraft, giant game. I've played it a little bit, but never really got into it.
I feel
the way
like
some people do.
it's probably past its peak as the giant game of its
Yeah.
category.
I think it'll always have its followers.
Oh, yeah.
The really artistic people that like want to like build amazing things, but
Yeah.
not for me. The Mass Effect games I could never get into, but they were huge.
I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed
I
that
just didn't
series.
like the
Did not like the
gameplay.
recent game. They botched it and killed their publisher in the process.
Mm,
So it's dead in the water now.
it's just gone. Were
Mass
they
Effect is
planning
dead.
more
If it had worked out, they probably would have done another trilogy.
Right.
But it was just so poorly handled.
Yeah, I never heard anything good about it.
No, the textures. It was the textures, and in general, the story was not engaging in the same way as the other series was.
Yeah. It's weird when graphics can take you so far out of a game too.
The main person you talk to on your first ship, or your first arc, she looks like a clown with the way the textures were released.
That is a shame. Especially because everyone seemed to love the first trilogy. Except for the ending, apparently.
Except for the ending, yes.
Which they
Well, the
rewrote.
problem is you got to wrap up a series in a way with the technological limitations
Mm,
that were there on the system, and you're trying to wrap up three games worth of series in a way that someone can make a choice. You kind of gets stuck because the people have to be able to make the choice that they want.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know the story. I didn't play the games. I can't say. But I feel like
I waited
Could it
until
be
they
that
had
hard?
released the update or whatever to the game to give a couple options for the ending
I heard
and tweak it a bit.
multiple endings at least. Games for Nintendo platforms I never played, but everyone seems to really like, and they make a ton of them. Fire Emblem. Never played a single one, but
Me
they keep
neither.
making them, so people are buying
And
them.
they are very popular
I
in
like
Smash
those
Bros.
characters for
games.
Smash Bros, which I really like. One of them now, one of those characters.
I don't like her. I don't like her because
Old
you like
Corrin.
her. But yeah, definitely that's one of them. Fire
Mm.
Emblem. What was the other one there that they have?
Nintendo?
Yeah, there's another along those lines.
I don't even know if Fire Emblem is an RPG turn-based or if it's action. I have no idea.
There was, I can't remember. Sorry.
They used to
Shulk?
make
Shulk is with what game?
oh, Xenoblade Chronicles, or
I think so. That sounds correct.
Something.
Xenoblade.
Yeah, Xenoblade the game. Those games never
played those ones either.
Never even found them interesting. Like they're such a weird. I'm just not into maybe the Japanese style games that much anymore. It used to be when they were like
they're
PlayStation or
the
PlayStation
RPG
games.
turn-based things. I don't mind that.
Yeah,
I'll dabble in that, but I didn't like it when they started going to like a constant combat thing. You're going in a combat, you're able to move around and do everything. It just didn't seem the same. I like the turn-based.
Yeah.
The strategy of that.
Yeah, and that's kind of getting back into like a game like Dark Souls where the combat's very like purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
And those games, when they start doing the action RPG type things, it does seem more of just like if you're more powerful, you're going to win. Just keep hacking or whatever. Mm-hmm. Can't say much about it though, because I hadn't played it. Just from what I have observed. I've never played an Elder Scrolls game. Those are big. I own Skyrim for the Switch. Haven't got to yet.
I didn't beat Skyrim. I played it. I put it on a fair decent amount of hours, but I just got distracted again. I have a problem with that with the large open worlds, getting distracted by the side quests, and to the point that I drift away from it.
You lose interest because like I've been side questing for days.
But I played the crap out of Oblivion.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into Elder Scrolls for the whole Morrowind thing. I did not get into that. Really?
Morrowind was the third
One was the third one, yeah.
Yeah.
You had Morrowind and then Oblivion and then Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
And Skyrim and Skyrim.
Are they even going to make a sixth one?
I think there's a rumor. There's the rumor that they're working on something.
That's Bethesda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been kind of distracted working on Fallout. Is their other series
right. Now. Who makes Far Cry? They just released a new one of those. I never played a Far Cry game.
I played the 4. I think it was 4 because it was 3, and then 4 was like the Himalayans based one. Then 5, but between 4 and 5 there was the Ancient.
Oh yeah, that one didn't do so well, did it?
I'm not sure what it was called.
Primal?
I didn't play it. Yeah, Primal. Far Cry Primal. Yeah, I did not play that game. I played 4 pretty well.
I like the concept because I think I read about Primal where it's like cavemen type stuff or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that seems cool to me.
I had Ark to play and other games like that to scratch that niche. I didn't really get into that one. 4 I found pretty good.
Yeah.
But
are they kind of sandboxy or were they really scripted?
No, they're pretty sandboxy.
Yeah.
They're pretty random.
Yeah.
And bugs are actually an enjoyable part of the game. Weird things happen that you can't explain. And they've always got a random animal that will beat the crap out of you for no reason that just doesn't seem like it should.
Honey badger.
There's a honey badger. Eagles are generally consistently evil. I think the recent one, 5, has turkeys. Turkeys will hunt you down.
All right. Weird. Did you ever play any of the Red? Actually, has only been one so far?
Yeah, there's Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead Redemption is the first game, right? Have they made a second one yet?
Yeah, they're working on a second one.
Okay, did you play the first one?
Yes, I did.
Was it pretty good?
Yeah, it was a good game.
Is that an open type of world too?
That was a Rockstar game, so along the lines of GTA, but
Western.
But it was a Western,
okay.
Which has the niche factor for me.
Yeah.
Drew me in a lot more than the Grand Theft Auto games.
There's just a million games I want to play. There's just not enough life.
No.
You can have you ever looked at those stats for like how many books you can realistically read in your life or something? And it's like you get this number and it's like I gotta pick this many more. That's it. That's all you get. Same with games. It's like I can literally only play this many more games. That's it in my life.
You're never gonna play them all.
No. So sad. I want to live forever and do them all and podcast about them.
That's not in our time.
No. Yeah, and I started going back here, but like God of War, never got into those games. It's all Sony kind of.
It's basically
games,
we weren't big Sony players.
Yeah.
No offense to Sony owners or Sony
players. Only had
we
so
just
much time for one console kind of thing, or
we
two
had
at most.
Generally 1 or 2 consoles at a time, and it seemed to be mostly
Nintendo
and then we got into Xbox because of Halo. Yeah.
Such a disappointment that Halo. I'll still play the 6th one though. I'm looking at games that I own that I never played. Calamari. Oh wait, no, Katamari. Katamari Damacy. I don't know. I own it for the PlayStation 2. I don't know where it is. I don't even know where my PS2 is. I have a bin somewhere I gotta dig up.
I've never owned a PlayStation 2. I never owned a PlayStation 3.
I bought the PS2 when it was at Costco on sale. So many Star Wars games I never played, like Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't played like
I would
all
watch
Star Wars
you
games.
play Mass Effect and Star Wars Old Republic. I just don't like the gameplay for whatever reason. It bothers me. But if you like them, I'm in for the story.
I could probably replay the Mass Effect games. I need to do that.
Yeah. ICO or ICO or whatever it was called. Those were Sony games as well. ICO and I think Shadow of the Colossus.
Well, Shadow of the Colossus, yes.
I think it just got remade or something like
yes.
that. I really want
just got a
to see
remastered
those.
version.
They look cool to me, like artistically. Metal Gear Solid, the games I played a couple.
Another thing I did not get into any of those ones.
Actually, I think they remade the first one for the GameCube, and I played.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching the YouTube clips of
so
the recent one out.
I start to go real way back there. It just gets a little irrelevant, but like Counter-Strike, never got into that. A lot of computer games.
PC is the main problem there, yeah.
Never got into any of the Sims games.
Sims I played.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's a single player game most of the time.
Right.
So I blame my sister for influencing me with Sims. I think she had like the original.
Oh yeah.
Way back when our computer actually could handle it. Initially. But I think I own a Sims 3 or 4. I think 4 might be the current one. And they're just releasing expansions to it constantly.
I like my Animal Crossing. It's as close to that kind of a game as I go. It's just, it seems...
I'm surprised you need to try some Stardew Valley. Do you have that on your Switch?
No. I don't know. I'm kind of just holding out for Animal Crossing on the Switch. I just don't want more than one of those games.
Well, if you play the Stardew would be perfect. It's a great game. No, it's a great game to pick up when you're bored at work.
I can't be bored at work anymore. I'm running the freaking show. Working me like a dog now. I was playing lots of games at work up until, past few months, and now I'm making sales.
And you got the raise, and
now I'm in charge of things, and yeah. Now I got more money to play more games, less time to play more games.
Terrible conundrum.
Just how it always goes. Well, let's wrap this up. Thank you for joining us once again for a post-nerdism podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and go to the other places where it is, and like and subscribe there too. Maybe just turn it on in a playlist and get us all those views. Sweet, sweet views. Anyways, until next time, see ya.